got comments before I even get started. What is going on? What is going on, man? Welcome back to Thursday night Top 5 Baits. Sorry I missed you guys last week, and sorry that we're late tonight. Schedule's crazy with soccer season. I'm just telling you, lots going on. But we're going to talk about the best baits to fish for this weekend. It's going to be kind of a odd night to talk about it. We've had a certain kind of weather all week this week, and we're going to have a totally opposite kind of weather, or at least for tomorrow we'll have a totally different kind of weather. So we're going to have to kind of consider that in some of our baits that we're going to discuss. But we'll get into all of that here in a minute. First, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining in. I want to encourage you to hit a thumbs up, especially if you do, for whatever messed up reason, enjoy these live streams that we do every week. I would appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. Also, drop me a comment in here and let me know who I'm talking to tonight, folks at home. Let's start it up at the top. We got Gary Payne in the house, Charles A., Bryant White, Case and Gaby, Kevin Jones, Ben Shobe, Cody Mays, Jonathan Bolin from the Bigfoot Bass Guide TV, JD Atnett, oh, Deer Slayer, Jonathan Bolin, John Denny, Bass Raider, Mike Eaton, Jeff Bonner, Lane Bosley, Big C. What's up, Big C? Ain't seen you in a while. Zach Watts, Chris Day. What's up, Chris Day? Bob Davis, Tony Maynard, Big John. Key to porting and fishing. I'm not. You're getting above my pay grade. That's way too many letters in one name there. Hey, man, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Interesting week. Interesting week. Very warm, stable weather. Last couple mornings, the morning bite's been pretty good. Early in the week, Monday and Tuesday, and yesterday to some extent for sure, man, we just had these bluebird skies and no wind whatsoever. And once you got to the middle of the morning, the bite was really tough. Really tough. I mean, you could catch some, but boy, in the morning they were kind of chasing bait around and doing what they do in the fall, and it was good. But man, you know, guys, I don't care what time of year it is. When it just gets dead slick, flat, calm on the big water, and that sun is shining and there's not a cloud in the sky, man, that is tough. It's tough. The only time that's good is when you're looking at them on a bed, so you can see them a little easier, stay a little further off them. But that is tough fishing conditions throughout the year, man. And we've dealt with a lot of that this week. Now, that being said, we finally did get a little bit of cloud cover and wind today, a little bit, not a lot. That got some bites scattered throughout the day, but certainly, again, once we got to especially noon and later, bite did definitely get tougher than it had been in the mornings. Definitely seems to be a morning bite right now. Now, tomorrow might be totally different. We're going to have more wind. We're going to have more cloud cover. We've even got some rain coming in at 4 or 5 a.m., something like that around here, maybe 6 a.m., something like that. That could completely change everything. I will tell you that, especially with the conditions we had this morning and the conditions we're going to have tomorrow, there's going to be some baits that are really fun baits to fish that are going to be your best friend. Probably a frog and a swim jig. That being said, let's transition and start talking about our top 5 baits tonight. So let's lead off with what I'm going to start off with tomorrow. Old frog. Hey, fall time of year, everything's about shad, right? So white is the preferred frog color choice for me right now. Especially with cloud cover, you could go to a natural color or even a black and probably still get bit. I like to throw white frogs in the fall because I feel like the bass are so keyed into shad. We're throwing this on my Team Lou's light speed spool. This reel, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. This light speed spool is maybe my favorite reel I've ever fished with. Very, very good reel. Anyways, frog rod, I'm using 6-inch Select Series 7 heavy with a fast action tip. 7 heavy. 7.5 heavy with a fast action tip is what I'm using on my frog rod. Frogs. A lot of flooded vegetation. A lot of shallow vegetation. A lot of shallow fish. A lot of bait up in that shallow vegetation. That all equates to throwing frogs in all that slop. You can throw it anywhere you want to, and they will bite it right now. They will absolutely bite a frog right now. My number 2 bait, you guys saw a video on it yesterday. Swim jig. Swim jig's been the breadwinner here lately. Swim jig caught the biggest fish of the day yesterday. Swim jig caught the 2 biggest fish of the day today. Swim jig is an absolute key component to every day. It's getting my bigger bites. And hey, that 6-cent swim jig that I'm using, I know y'all have heard me preach on it a lot. I'll show you maybe my favorite aspect of it. It's a great swim jig, great head design, very stable swimming motion, all that. But this trailer has been on here for weeks now. And I don't know how well this will show up on my cell phone camera, but I want to show y'all that this swim bait trailer is completely split apart from getting big. Oh, can y'all see that? It's completely split apart. It's supposed to be plastic up to here. It's not supposed to come down on the hook like that. Like the hook's supposed to be in the plastic to back there. If you look, can y'all see the teeth marks on there? Teeth marks all up and down that swim jig trailer, that Divine swim bait that I got on there. And hey, look here. I'm still going to be using it for weeks more. Guys, it's 6 cents Divine swim jig is so good, and it keeps those trailers on there for so long, which allows you to be so much more efficient. Spend less time in the bottom of your boat, more time casting. That swim jig I'm using is Table Rock Shad. The swim bait color is Pro Shad in the Divine swim bait series. That has been my best bait over the last week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Really, really has. My second best bait, I've got a good sample one that I use to show you guys on Top 5 Baits and live stream, stuff like that. Little Holly, light hitch. Little Holly, been a good bait for us lately. Throwing it on a 5/0 on or underspin. I want to show you, this was the second Little Holly that we had to use this morning. One of them got so blown out we just couldn't use it anymore. Smash custom, smash tech hollow body. Got an eye. See, she had eyes, now she doesn't have eyes. Man, the teeth marks don't ever show up on this phone camera very well. But this bait is riddled with teeth marks all up and down it as well. Just a great bait design, well made by Heath Taylor over at Smash That Custom Baits. If you don't know about Little Holly, you better get on that train because Little Holly is the deal. All right, fourth bait. I don't know that I have one. I didn't bring one in. Wacky worm, Wacky Rig, Divine Shaky Head Worm. Watermelon, or I'm sorry, green pumpkin candy has been the color I've been throwing the most. Probably get away with a Nirvana tomorrow with a cloud cover if you're fishing tomorrow. I know there's some kids out of school in some of these school districts for in-service day or something. So if you're going tomorrow, it's going to be dark and cloudy. That Nirvana is probably my favorite dark conditions color. But green pumpkin candy's been the one I'm throwing. Especially with the no wind that we've been having, the Wacky Worm has been a key component this week. You could also go out and throw a fluke. You could throw a clout stick bait. All those weightless plastics can be very key when there's no wind. That being said, you guys should have a little bit of wind this weekend and tomorrow's. Fifth bait. For the fifth bait, I got to tell you, those 4 baits have been really good for me this week. They've been really solid. My fifth bait, I could probably pick a bunch of different baits, and I've really been leaning on those 4 this week more than anything else. I've also been punching a little bit of grass. When it gets real calm and real sunny, I've been able to get some bites punching, which is a lot of fun. But when there's clouds or wind, the punching bites, those fish want to be out chasing bait right now. The only time they're really getting under that mat and biting under it is when it's flat calm with sun. If I have wind or if I have clouds, I can't catch them under the mat. Or at least that's in my head that I can't, so I guess that's in my head and it's in my head and I can't. But none of that made any sense. I'm aware. Just go with it. It's okay, folks. This ain't like you didn't come here for the intelligence factor. We're all aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 3/8 ounce chatterbait. I have not been getting the bites on this like I have been on the swim jig and the swim bait, but it's a chatterbait. It's like Novocaine. Man, you give it enough time, it'll always work. You know what I'm saying? 3/8 ounce chatterbait in a shad pattern. I could also throw a swim bait on here for my, spinnerbait. I could also put a spinnerbait as my 5th bait. Very easily put a spinnerbait on. Here's my 5th bait. Be comfortable with that. I could also put a buzzbait. I could also put a topwater walking bait or topwater popper. Any of those could work right now. Those first 4 baits, frog, weedless hollow belly swim bait, swim jig, and the wacky worm, those are my 4 mainstays that I've depended on the most this week. 5th bait could be a lot of different things because it's fall. And you can catch them on a lot of different shad baits. Oh, a little small Crush 50 square bill, small lipless crankbait. Absolutely, those can be in there as well. A lot of different ways to go about it right now. How's the offshore bite been? You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's getting there. It's getting there. We're going to probably do some offshore fishing tomorrow after we get done with the stormy weather. Later in the day, sun comes out tomorrow. We're going to go offshore, I think, if it comes out. Earlier in the week, I wasn't on Lake Fork. I was on some other lakes, so I didn't get to fish the offshore bite in that just super slick, calm, sunny condition. I was on different lakes. I had to go out and survey some other lakes for app updates and filming purposes and stuff like that, which you guys will see some of next week. Am I catching any on docks? You know, I haven't really been fishing docks as much lately. I've transitioned more to the pure fall patterns, bait chasers or offshore, one or the other. But I do know of a buddy of mine that guides out there that I was talking to today that he's been catching a lot of fish on docks. So apparently there's some dock fish still to be caught. Movement ADX doing any good? It's not too soon for the Movement ADX. The Movement ADX has been good, but here lately the more tighter wiggling, I think it's been these daggum post-frontal conditions that we've kind of had, but the tighter wiggling square bill has been better than the harder wobbling Movement ADX. Now, this storm rolling in here tomorrow, they could be back on the Movement ADX. Before these fronts, we were catching them on the Movement ADX. Have I thrown the new Smash Tech glide bait he teased the other day on Instagram? It looked amazing. No, I've only seen the prototypes in his shop. I've never thrown one. That is one of the baits that's going to be coming out by the first of the year. It's a big 7-inch glide bait he's got some jointed baits and some glide baits that are coming. If I know Heath, they'll be really good. But I have not thrown them yet. But I sure will. As soon as he gets the molds in and starts making them, I absolutely will be throwing some of those baits. How's the new 6-inch frog holding up? Great. I haven't had any issues out of the 6-inch frog. That one's relatively new. I pulled it out of the package last week when I wanted to go to a solid white one for the shad deal. But I haven't had any problems with any of my 6-inch frogs. They've been holding up really, really well. Do I have any good spots on Cedar Creek? I've never been on Cedar Creek. I don't know. I don't know nothing about Cedar Creek. I know it's got a lot of boat docks, I guess. I think there's some offshore brush piles that are supposed to be good, but I've never been on that water. Considering putting braid on my spinning reel, any suggestions? 10-pound capacity spool. I would use, so on my spinning reels, which I don't hardly ever use, I do keep some for customers. I like to use 20-pound mainline braid on my spinning reels and then tie leaders for most baits on a spinning rod. Fluorocarbon leader usually. And if I'm fishing, like if I've got a guy that just can't cast a bait caster and for whatever reason I'm fishing a top water on a spinning reel, then I'll just tie the braid straight to it. Talk to me about the 10-inch ridgeworm. 10-inch ridgeworm is legit, very legit. Back when they were biting a ribbon tail worm pretty good, we switched over to that ridgeworm, which has kind of a ribbon tail. It's a different type of ribbon tail, but a really big, long, swimming tail. We switched over to that, and immediately the size of bass we were catching it went up. We caught bigger fish on it, got just as many bites, if not more. Been really impressed with the ridgeworm. Threw it on a shaky head in the summer some. I've had some since April. Threw some throughout the summer on a shaky head. Really good fish caught on that. Threw it up shallow in the fall on a light Texas rig. Even had one of our videos a few weeks ago where that was what we caught all our fish on. Caught some really big fish on it, relatively big. We had a good bag of fish going, and been really, really impressed with the ridgeworm. Very unique action on that worm. A lot of movement in that tail. Very, very good. Need some new plastic swim bait designs from Heath. The soft plastic, I don't think he's got any new soft plastics coming out, but I promise you haven't fished all of his soft plastic swim baits. He's got like 15 of them. He's got a lot of soft plastic swim baits. Gary Payne said he caught a 7.20 yesterday on green pumpkin burst wacky worm on grass edge. Gary, I got your text. You also caught that on one of our Fish Life app spots. I did get your text. I meant to respond, and I got busy, and I forgot to respond to you. I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm telling y'all, if y'all know me personally, and y'all my phone number, or if y'all message me on social media and I don't get back to you, I am bad about it. I sincerely apologize. I can tell you this time of year is very, very busy. We are very busy guiding. We are very busy filming. It's fall. We're fishing a ton. On top of that, we're creating all the content that we create. And on top of that, also I'm coaching my kids in soccer, which takes up most of my weekday evenings and all of my Saturdays. I really focus on that. I love coaching those kids. I love coaching my kids. I love coaching the other kids. And it eats up a lot of my time. And I am terrible about getting back to y'all sometimes on messages. I sincerely apologize. Gary, I did see that fish. That was a great fish. Did catch it on a Fish Life spot that we just updated around the 1st of October. We appreciate you subscribing to that and letting us know the success you've had using it. That is awesome. I appreciate it. By the way, guys, if you are new to Lake Fork or you want to learn more about it, there's nothing you can do that'll be better for you than subscribing to the Lake Fork Premium Package on the Fish Life app. The life is spelled with a Y, L-Y-F-E. Brand. Bob Davis says brand question mark. What brand what are you asking, Mr. Davis? I'm not sure what you're asking me on brand there. Are the fish all the way back in creeks yet? Oh yeah, a lot of them. Not all of them, but yeah, a lot of them are all the way back in creeks. Absolutely. You can go as far back as you want to and find bait and fish in pretty much every creek out here. Absolutely. Timmy Rhodes in the house. What's up, big dog? Out of curiosity, what is the biggest bait that has been caught this year on Lake Fork? Any total monsters? Oh, God, I know there's been some 12s. I don't personally know of any 13s that I can recall this year. I'm sure somebody's caught one. I don't ever remember a year where there wasn't any caught. Man, I'm going to tell you, as the years have worn on, and I've always been this way to a pretty large extent, but the further I get into this fishing career of mine, I really am a mind my own business, blinders on, go to the lake, go fishing, put the boat on the trailer and go home, don't talk to anybody. I kind of try to mind my own business as much as I possibly can. You know, if I see people and they want to talk, I always happy to take the time to talk to anybody, other guys, regular guys, locals fishing the lake, people in town that watch the content, want to talk to you. I love that, no problem with that. But as far as asking about, you know, who's caught what or what's going on in the lake, or I ignore it. I go do my job to the best of my ability and I come home. Unfortunately, I think it's just the nature of the world and the times that we live in. Maybe it's always been this way. We've just gotten more exposed to it now with more information, more social media and all that stuff. But man, it seems it doesn't matter what you do, there's going to be some drama about it. So I just choose to ignore. I choose to try to my best ability, ignore all of it and do what I do. Be grateful that I get to do what I love and go work as hard as I can at it and go home and love on my family. That's my life. It's pretty awesome. I love it. So. Got a tournament Saturday. Any suggestions for a quick limit? Find them active on shad and then use those baits, man. I mean, dude, I don't fish for unders. I'm like terrible for unders. I would downsize my swim bait, maybe like downsize to a 3-inch swim bait on a weedless hook if I was targeting unders. You know, throw more of those weightless plastics if I was targeting unders. But the key component to catch a quick limit is going to be to get in an area that has fish actively chasing shad early in the morning. There's a lot of that goes on right now in a lot of areas, so you can find it. But if you can get on some active fish actively chasing shad in the first couple hours, you can absolutely catch a quick limit. Downsize some of your baits, slow them down, try to catch some of those smaller fish. That way with weightless plastics or smaller swim baits, that small spinner bait might do it for you, something like that. Sorry, didn't add to the question. 20-pound braid. What do you? What brand? So on all my braid, I've always used Power Pro. I've heard some guys complain about Power. I've never had any problems out of Power Pro in my braid, and it's kind of what I've always used. How far should I have the boat to where the fish are when fishing those creeks and stuff? Man, I'm gonna tell you, the deal with that is, it can kind of depend on the technique. Cause like if I'm flipping grass punching, like I'll be pretty close to them. But I'm also very noise conscious. I turn all my sonars off. I turn my trolling motor way down when I'm getting close to them. Generally speaking, covering, throwing, if I'm going down a bank or something like that, I want to keep the boat as far away as I can. I want to keep the boat off them as much as possible when I can. The distance you need to stay off them is as far as you can be and still fish your technique you're fishing effectively. When I'm flipping and punching, I need to be close to fish that effectively. Off-grid whitetails, we appreciate you joining us again, brother. David G says he saw a 15.9 posted on Facebook, no date. Don't know when for sure. That may have been that, like, there was some nonsense that came out back when MLF was here in March. Somebody said that Roy Hanselman or somebody caught a 16-pounder. That wasn't true. It wasn't true. Do I have to have a $300 setup to get the best out of the swim baits you are repping? Not these swim baits, these 5-inch ones, absolutely not. You just need like a 7.3, 7.4, 7.5 heavy rod maybe. That rod I'm throwing that swim bait on, that 4.5-inch hollow belly on, I throw the 5-inch swim baits on that. That's a 7.5 heavy with a moderate tip and just a medium or high speed gear ratio reel. It doesn't have to be, I'm fortunate. I get to fish these great brands. I got great sponsor partners. But I could absolutely throw that same deal on a H2O Express rod and a H2O Express metal reel. I did it. When I first started guiding, that was the setup I was throwing that bait on. We caught them with that too. That's nicer, that's better. I'll cast further. You don't have to have it. Agreed on the social media. I deleted Facebook last month. Yeah, so if I didn't own and operate my own small business, there's no way I wouldn't even use social media. But I say that, but you know what? It really, there's so many good things about it. I don't know, that's a hard thing to say. It's a hard thing to say because I've met so many new people that I've become what I consider to be really important people in my life, close personal friends that I've met through the social media content that we produce. So I wouldn't change any of it for anything. Vic Pearsall and Cody Mays have become very good friends of mine. And, Cody, his brother Chauncey was serving in the Army and ended up getting killed in action over there in Afghanistan. And, man, I love him. I love those guys like some of my best friends and brothers, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. So I say that I wouldn't be on social media, but yet if I wasn't, then I would have never known those guys. And I wouldn't take that back for anything. I'm a big believer in you just keep your head down and work real hard, and what's supposed to happen will happen. And so I'm supposed to be on social media, and it has put some really important people in my life that are important to me. So I don't know that I would totally get rid of it, but I know I'd certainly spend a lot less time on it if I wasn't operating a business, that's for sure. What's your go-to baits to mimic small shad? Great question. Also, spinning rod or bait caster for jerk baits? 100% bait caster for jerk baits. Throw a jerk bait on a 6.9 medium action rod, and definitely want to throw it on a bait caster. I throw everything on a bait caster. I throw a wacky one on a bait caster. Most people don't do that. I prefer to have a bait caster in my hand, and I can, had enough experience casting. I can get by with doing it, and I like to. What was that first part of the question? Go-to baits for smaller shad. Wasn't that it? Let me see if I got this. Go-to bait to mimic small shad. That was it. So that little 3-inch swim bait, here's one on a jig head. This would be one right here. Little 3-inch swim bait on a little 1/8 jig head with an underspin. That's good. I like the weedless version too. Throw it on a 3/0 on a flashy swimmer. It's got an even smaller blade on it. Really mimics shad really well. Small 1/4 ounce spinner baits with little willow leaf blades. Great one. Another one is a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. 1/4 ounce rattle trap. Those are probably my best baits. All three of those are my very best baits for mimicking small shad. Any thoughts on the elites coming to Fork this fall? What patterns do you expect to really play then? They're coming the first week of November, and it's going to be really interesting. Weather is 100% going to play a big factor in that game. Weather trend. Do we get a cold front? Do we get a hard cold front? I'm going to tell you right now, as cold as the water temps have, not cold, but as low as the water temps have already gotten relative to normal, if they get a really hard cold front and that tournament starts on the backside of that cold front, it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. And they're the Elite Series. Like, somebody will catch them pretty well, even if it's super tough. Some of those guys will catch them probably very well. But if they get on the backside of a cold front, you look about halfway down that leaderboard, you're going to see some guys out there that are lost. And on Lake Fork, absolutely. You'll see some guys that are completely lost. As far as what techniques, now, if they get on the right side, if they're prefrontal through that tournament, cloudy, warm weather, nice water temps in the upper 60s, lower 70s, man, they could all catch them. They might all catch them pretty good then. And if that's the case, shallow water, power fishing, derby, you'll have the stuff we're talking about tonight. Swim jig, shallow crankbaits, maybe some flipping, some stuff like that will catch them if they get prefrontal conditions, warm weather, before a cold front. If they get on the backside of a front, it'll probably be either something really finesse up shallow, or it'll be an offshore structure deal. And again, will probably have to be something kind of finesse to win it. There's always both in the fall. There's a lot of fish push back shallow. There's a lot of fish starting to group up offshore. By the time we get to the first week of November, that'll be in its full peak, where we have the separation of the fish. Back of the creeks, offshore, both grouped up really well. It'll be an interesting deal. We've never seen a tournament on Lake Fork like of this scale in the fall. We've never seen these guys fish these lakes in the fall on this level, on the Elite Series. It will be, I don't think anybody really knows what to expect because we've never seen something like this before. So it'll be something that I'm paying very close attention to. It'll be something that me, as an avid angler, I'll be watching this to learn from it, to see how some of the best fishermen on planet Earth go about attacking the fall situation. It'll be very educational for all of us, I think, and it's something I really look forward to. It's political season and an election year. That was my best political answer I got. Don't ask me to do it again. Ethan, it's not that I didn't notice you. I'm just trying to go in order. I haven't gotten to your comment yet. I apologize. Oh, now I'm to your comment. Can I send you some baits? I'm trying to start fishing. Brother, if I send you some baits, then everybody in here is going to want baits. And no, I can't just send everybody baits. We do giveaways that I sincerely hope that you enter from time to time. We do giveaways on this channel. We just did one last week with Hollow Body Swim Baits, the bait I was just talking about earlier. And I hope you enter those and, maybe you'll win some. But I can't just give everybody baits, man. Hope the wind blows giant Sylvania out of my starting cove on Caddo this weekend. It's loaded up in that cove over the past week. I need to follow R. Kelly. Oh, yeah. You guys got a high school tournament out there. That's right. Yeah. Man, I don't know. We don't have to deal with that too much on Fork or anywhere around that I've been fishing lately, but yeah, Sylvania. Don't say that with anybody with a grass spraying boat around. They'll start spraying everything in sight. Man, that's bad stuff. Jared Carson, this is maybe the comment of the night that I like the most. Social media is great. How else would us coaches find out what offense we should be running? I can only imagine. Because back when I was growing up, you had like that group of dads that went to every practice, right? And like they sat over there and talked trash about everything. Oh man, that coach needs to throw the ball more. Man, no, we got to stay with the running game. You know, we ought to be in a 4-3. We ought to be in a 3-4. And all them dads would stand over there, and at the end of practice, they'd fill the coach's ear up with what he should be doing. Well, now these coaches don't only have to deal with that group of dads. They've got every parent, cousin, brother, kids making fake profiles, trying to get themselves a ball more. Like, I cannot imagine how much armchair quarterbacking you coaches get now. Jared's a high school football coach. Great thing. That's a great calling. I know Jared, him and his dad and brother fished guide trips with me for a couple years now, and it's a good thing to do. There's a lot of football coaches that had a tremendous influence on my life that I will be forever grateful for what some of my coaches did. So Jared, thank you for what you do for a lot of young men out there. I know you're a good man, and I know you set a great example for them. I just saw a question. It's an easy one. What's the status of the Fork tournament? Done. Been done. It's all the way gone. Have I seen any hydrilla? Yeah, absolutely. I've seen hydrilla. If you're specifically asking about Lake Fork, yeah, there's some hydrilla. There's more coontail. A lot of flooded shoreline vegetation. A lot of lily pads that will probably start to die off here pretty soon. I'd imagine that water keeps cooling off like it has been. But it's warm right now. It's warm the last few days. It's going to be like 90 on Sunday, which is weird after it's been so cool. But it'll cool back off, I'm sure, soon, and those lily pads will start fading. But a lot of different types of vegetation. There is absolutely some hydrilla in Lake Fork right now. Not a lot, not in a lot of areas, but it's there. Cody, I'm on a guide trip. Cody's asked me about filming tomorrow. I'm on a guide trip tomorrow, but I'll be with customers all day tomorrow. I appreciate the offer, though, my man. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the live stream tonight, man. Again, sorry so late. Sorry I missed y'all last week. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through. Most of y'all stayed with us through the entire live stream. I love seeing that. Good luck to all the people fishing the Big Bass Splash at Sam Rayburn. Y'all going to have some crazy weather, crazy wind. Best of luck to y'all down there. Great fishery, Sam Rayburn. By the way, we just updated our package on the Sam Rayburn Fish Life as well. So if you're from Rayburn and you're watching this, go subscribe to the Fish Life Premium Package for Sam Rayburn. It absolutely will help you make sure you're around fish this weekend if you need some help. We would love to be the ones to help you. Awesome. Thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide.